Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a relatively large book haul. It hasn't been that long since my last one, so to each their own, and I have bought some books. I do have a few books that came in subscription, special edition boxes, so I'll show those at some point and separate those out from the rest. And then a lot of them I got some relatively good deals on them during Black Friday. So first up, I did quite a large haul from Target specifically. They were doing buy one, get one half off, and the prices that they had, the starting price that they had were like the low Amazon prices, so I was really impressed. I ended up getting a few from specific series, which was probably a little bit too aggressive. I guess the first one is from BK Borison. I got a couple books. I got Business Casual and In the Weeds. These are contemporary romances. BK Borison also wrote Love Light Farms, which is the first book in this series, which is actually on the way. I bought these on clearance and then I ended up buying the first one significantly later, so that's still coming over, but that's a Christmas contemporary romance and I wanted to read that one. I thought it would be like a fun one to read now and then to continue these into the new year. And then additionally in BK Borison's interconnected standalones, I'm pretty sure that's what these are. I also done Mixed Signals. And then something that is available on Kindle Unlimited, but I did want the physical version. These are the newly traditionally published Zodiac Academy. This is the first book. It is just simply called Zodiac Academy. This, if you've never heard of this book before, it is a bully romance. It is two twins that grew up in the normal human world. Turns out they're actually the secret hidden heirs that were long lost to a magical realm. However, there are other people who are fighting for that same right. And so they get pulled back into the magical world, into a magical school, which is really why I picked it up, because I love magical school settings. And there's a whole cast of characters that I've heard is really fun to love to hate. So I can't wait to get into this. This seems like a guilty pleasure and something I'm just gonna eat up. Then I got the third book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. This is a small town cowboy romance. I have been really enjoying Elsie Silver books, and so I got a few of these ones to kind of hold me over after I finish those. Okay, then I got 3 of the Plated Prisoner series. I have been wanting to read this forever. I ended up getting Gold, Glint, and Gleam, and these were so inexpensive relatively to what they usually are. I ended up going with the paperbacks for these because I just kind of like the format. But yeah, they're relatively floppy, and I think I'm gonna really enjoy reading these. There's a very large font and not that much per page, so I have a feeling I'm gonna fly through these. Can't wait to get to these. My understanding is that these are a King Midas retelling. There is the main female character who seems like she is trapped in a cage. She's been turned to gold, is my understanding, by King Midas. She might not be aware that she's really a prisoner. Anyway, and then I think it's kind of a story of her coming out of her own shell. And then I also got Goldfinch and Guild in the Plated Prisoner series as well. And then next up I got Phantasma. This was incredibly popular all over TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. And I really enjoyed Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I read that trilogy earlier this year and I really like the setting of a magical circus and carnival. And my understanding is that this is essentially a darker version of that and a more adult version of that. And so I really want to get into this. I heard it's like spicy and that the main male character is a phantom, if I understood that correctly. And I know that there are 2 sisters, which sounds really similar to Caraval. Regardless, I am excited to get into it. And I definitely, even though it sounds like it's similar, I like that. I like it when sometimes books are similar, they're comforting, they're fun to read. Then I picked up Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. This is another historical fiction by one of the best authors I think that's out there. This one is set in Texas, and I'm excited to probably cry my eyes out because it's Kristen Hanna. Then I went to Barnes & Noble's, and because I love to collect special edition books, that's usually what I get primarily at Barnes & Noble's. Otherwise, I'm able to find better prices somewhere else, so I really only get the stuff that's exclusive there, or relatively. First up, I got the exclusive Barnes & Noble's editions of Two Twisted Crowns and One Dark Window. This is a gothic duology that I'm very confident that I'm gonna like, which henceforth why I bought the special editions without even reading the original one first. But that's a risk I was willing to take to make sure that I grabbed these before they sold out. And I have already read R.F. Kuang's Yellowface. I loved that book last year. Honestly, I should have included it in my top 10 books of 2024. So therefore, I knew I was gonna enjoy The Poppy War. This is available on Kindle Unlimited, which I might also read that format on, but I did get this special edition of it. Look at the beautiful flamed edges. I know there's a lot of trigger warnings. I know this is a very intense book and I really can't wait to read it. Now this one I really know nothing about. This is Under the Oak Tree from Suji Kim. Honestly, I bought this one because the cover was so pretty. I love the edges. This was just me being a sucker to consumerism. And then finally I picked up the Barnes Noble edition of Throne of the Secrets. I picked up the first book in this series from Barnes Noble's, which is like a pink edition, so I wanted the second one to match even though I haven't necessarily read it yet. So I did grab this one as well. Then we went to Books A Million and I picked up The Magicians. This is a TV show that I actually really liked, and I know it was based on a bunch of books, a book series, which I never actually read. I knew I wanted to get into it, so I grabbed this one. I love this hardback. This is specific to Books A Million special edition. edition, and it has this really beautiful Starry Night sprayed edge, and it's got like a kind of like a matte soft cover. This year I started reading Jennifer L. Armentrout's From Blood and Ash, and I actually enjoyed it way more than I expected. I'm about halfway done with the first book, and then when we were at Books A Million, I noticed that 2 of them were literally 50% off for the hardback, so I grabbed both of these. This is a compendium to the book series, and this is Born of Blood and Ash. I have done my fair share of research with these books and what order to read them. There are 2 series, and you read them in publication order, not in consecutive order. And there's a prequel series, and then there's a main series, and you have to go back and forth and jump between the 2 to read it properly, and it's slowly revealed to you is how I understand it. Anyway, so I'm on the first book, and then I need to read the second one, and then I think I need to jump after that. Then I did order the box set of A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin, and I have read these. I want to reread them. I literally read them ages ago. I read them when like the TV show first came out, and I would love to get back into them. I ended up reading them on mass market paperback, and I hate that format. So I think I'm gonna get rid of those original copies, which I do have still in San Francisco, or give them to a friend. And then I'm going to read them myself on this version. Oh, these are the best. Look how I cannot wait to read this. Oh man, it is dense, but I love this. These are gorgeous. This is a Game of Thrones, A Clash of Kings. Now, when I first read these, I actually didn't like them that much. I didn't like the writing style. I thought he jumped around way too much and got into way too much detail about things that I thought really didn't matter. This is A Storm of Swords. And now that I've read quite a bit more fantasy, I appreciate his writing a little bit more for what it is. At the time I was reading a lot of like lit fic and really like beautiful poetry, and this isn't that, but I still think it's incredible, and the storytelling, and this is A Dance with Dragons. This is the one I actually have not read. But anyway, I'm excited for my reread, and I just love how floppy these are. I do love a hardback, but this is my favorite format. It's this kind of paperback that just flops over. Oh my God. This is incredible. I don't usually keep these boxes, but my husband does, and he ends up like putting tools and stuff. So we still make good use of these, and I still have them in my life. They're just not necessarily in my bookcase. Now, I ordered the special edition from the UK of the Caraval series that came with Spectacular. I don't know if I'm going to keep this because I might have gone overboard. I actually ordered 2 versions of the special edition. I have the white and the black. I have the white one up there, and I just kind of went crazy. So I'm keeping it wrapped up now while I think about if I'm going to keep this or resell it or gift it or something like that. But it is beautiful, and I do love that series, and I really had a great time this year reading it, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Now, I have a few books from subscription services that I'm part of. This is the Illumicrate special edition of The Last Hour Between Worlds. I don't know really anything about this, but this is the sprayed edges. It's all the way around. A lot of authors that I really like and respect did blurb this on the side. There's beautiful artwork on the inside. If you've never seen these special edition books, man, these are definitely collector's items, and if you're a mass consumer like me and you love stuff like this, I don't really like these like image hardcovers. It is quite pretty. The back and side cover also is quite pretty. It has like some art there, and then that's how that wraps around. Then there's a picture of the author right there. Next up is the Fairy Loot. I am part of both the Fairy Loot YA, young adult, and adult fantasy subscription. This is from the adult fantasy box. This is the Teller of Small Fortunes. This is beautiful. I actually really like this style with the Chinese lanterns and like the teapots, which is beautiful, and like the, looks like a cherry blossom that's like coming in. Oh man. Oh wow, look at this. The inside cover art is incredible, and it looks like there's a reversible dust jacket, and then the hardcover design is also pretty and has some foiling on it. That's absolutely incredible. I think Fairy Loot outdid themselves with this one. I don't really know anything about this book, but that's kind of what I like about Fairy Loot, is you get to discover a bunch of new books, and I have with them. Oh my goodness, look how pretty that cover is. And then that's the inside cover there. And then this is my next Fairy Loot, so I'm gonna guess this is the young adult one. They always come with these cards that explain what it's about. This is a South Asian fantasy, For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga. So this is the book, another beautiful edition. Those are the printed edges with a sword. Oh wow, that's really, really nice. Then there's the inside cover art. And then it doesn't look like there's a reverse dust jacket. That is the naked hardcover. I don't find that particularly interesting, but I do like the edges. Here's the back inside cover, which looks like the two main characters. Oh, this is very cool. I'm excited for that. And then I did pre-order the Owl Crate Powerless Special Edition boxes. There are 3 of these. Now, I preemptively ordered these. I knew that I could resell these on the aftermarket for what I paid for, not necessarily for a profit, but I knew that if I loved Powerless, which I just read earlier this year and I wasn't crazy about, and I need to give another chance. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep them. I'm still keeping them in the plastic cover, and I might just give them to a friend, honestly. So anyway, here's Powerless, which is the first one. Powerful is a novella that comes in between. And then Reckless is the second full book. And I haven't read the last 2, Powerful or Reckless, which I will do. I have them in just like their normal paperback form. But anyway, so they do have some pretty edges, and they have, it looks like a quote from Kai printed on the edge. And Kai is probably the thing that I liked the most, and the only thing that I really liked in those books. I liked him as a character. I thought he was quite interesting. And then these last 2 books are ridiculous, but I did buy another version of Crowns of Nyaxia. This is a duology that I read earlier this year and I love. This is the Fairy Loot edition. I also have the Owl Crate edition. I also bought an edition of them when I was in Paris earlier this year. I guess this is what book collecting is. If you haven't read these, I recommend them. I want to reread them. I love them. The 3rd one just came out and I still haven't read it. This is the first one, which is The Serpent of the Wings of Night, and then you can look at the sprayed edges so you can see the snake skin, and I think it's only sprayed. It looks like it's only sprayed on the main edge, which I'm not a big fan of that, but that's okay. And then the artwork on the inside is quite beautiful. And then it is a printed hardcover of our 2 main characters. I love these books. This is beautiful. These are really, really nice. And then the second one is quite similar, very similar cover, similar printed artwork on the hardback, and then similar artwork on the inside cover, just different scenes from the book. And then they're both signed by the author. And then last, but certainly not least, is Noodles, Rice, and Everything Spice, which is a cute little cookbook that I saw at a store when we were out with our friends when they were here visiting, and I just really wanted it for myself, and so I ended up ordering it online. And it is a cute little graphic cookbook, and it's got tons of little cartoons in it, and I thought it was like so fun. Anyway, I'm excited to get into this, and maybe I'll share some of the recipes on one of these vlogs. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this absurdly large haul of books that I definitely didn't need to do. I am so behind on my TBR, and there are so many books that I want to read and so many anticipated books of 2025. Regardless, I hope you are having a wonderful day. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.